Bien, mi gente, yo soy el Fury Taino y yo soy aquí at Drinkin
This is Drinkin at Drinkinatmos, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's also mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin at Mo's, where we don't quit. Drinkin at Mo's, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, always a scream.
You know, I've always said here at Drainamos, just because it says drinking at Moe's does not mean it has to be alcoholic. So I'm happy to say Drinking at Moe's is sponsored by Prince Nana Coffee. The exact same guy you see every week on Dynamite, on Collision. Yes, he has his own coffee and it's freaking delicious. They don't even roast those beans until you've placed your order. And you might be telling me, hey, Big Mo, I'm more of a tea guy. They got you covered there too. Use the referral link in the description of this video. And let's get you dancing like Prince Nana with Prince Nana Coffee. All right, everybody, welcome Drinking at Mo's. Big Mo here. You know the drill. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. YouTube's algorithm's a pain in the ass. Be sure to beat the crap out of that like button. We're on the audio platforms too, most major ones anyways. Today, you see I'm wearing the Fantastic League of Wrestling referee shirt again. Another part of the Fantastic League of Wrestling series. Island Fury Taino, how you doing?
Muy fantastico, I'm doing great. I cannot complain. You know me, the challenges is always a step in life.
Definitely. Yeah, I've been there myself, you know, taking on different challenges, especially with the podcast and you know, especially when starting out, it was definitely one of those things where I'm a bit of a I'm an introvert that wants to be an extrovert. So like reaching out to people, especially at the start, was like nerve-wracking to me.
Oh, yo entiendo, yeah. I consider myself introverted as well. You know, if someone says hey to me, I'll say, oh, hey, nice to see you and whatnot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I get uncomfortable, but I'm so used to doing stuff by myself, so I totally understand.
Oh yeah. One of those is like if they're being nice enough to say hello and greet you, you'll
Yeah,
be polite and
absolutely.
greet them back. But outside of that, you might not go out of your way to be the one to initiate it yourself.
No, no, not at all.
Oh yeah. Nope. I've been there. The military and the podcast has kind of helped me help me try to find a good way to put it. It's helped me be better with it. But
Hmm.
yeah, I still have those moments where it's like, yeah, no.
It's funny because mis amigos y mi familia, they tell me this all the time. They see Taino as mucho loco. They see a really fired up guy, and I do consider myself that. However, they also say there's no way that this kid is
Mm-hmm.
the same person
Oh yeah. No.
because they see how I am outside of the sport, outside of the gym, and
Oh yeah. No, there's
they're
definitely
like,
that, like, when you're in character, it's like
mm-hmm,
that there's a switch that flips.
absolutely.
But when you're, out of character, when you're in your normal everyday life, it's like completely different. Totally
Yeah,
different.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. So And I do want to kind of go into that a little bit, but before we do that, first thing I'd like to start off with everybody when they first come on the show. Excuse me. What got you started as a fan, and then what got you deciding to make the leap into the business?
Oh man, where do I begin with this?
It can be a big
Um,
one.
yeah, absolutely. Since I can remember, like I know a lot of people say this as
I,
a
I,
dramatic thing to say. I've grown up watching wrestling. Like since I was a baby, I have memories watching wrestling. You know, my family were huge wrestling fans. My uncles, mi tios were luchadores around their time. My father was a boxer, but he was also like a part of the business for a short while. My brothers were hardcore fans, so I feel like it was only a matter of time before it spread towards me,
oh yeah,
and it never went away. It never went away.
oh yeah, and that kind of helps lead you into the business because you know I know for me with my family, I was really the only one that was like a real big wrestling fan. I know my little brother kind of watched it to watch something with me, but yeah, I'm the only one that really stuck with it. I mean, here I am,
Hmm.
you know, running the whole podcast of
Yeah, yeah.
wrestling. So, although it is kind of funny for me seeing how having been the one that stuck with it doing the podcast,
Hmm.
I've I the podcast has actually got me recognized at the zoo here in town.
Oh, wow.
I was literally with my family and somebody notices me and my wife just looks at me like, "What the heck was that?" And I was like, "Oh, they." And then also to see my my parents looking at me when the way they looked at me when they heard about, oh, it was, they recognized me from this because I know that that, oh, his little podcast that he does, and seeing that, like, oh my god, people are actually, that was a little bit of a sense of validation, like,
Hmm.
I told you people would like it.
Yeah, for me personally, my love for wrestling never went away. It never went away. I never ever was able to see myself growing up doing anything else. I've always said I wanted to wrestle, I want to be a wrestler, wrestler, wrestler. And my family, a lot of them thought that it would I would grow out of it like many do.
Yeah,
Um,
like my family did.
yeah, absolutely, but it never went away. How could it go away?
Oh yeah, like, yeah, there might have been times where I didn't watch it as religiously,
Mm-hmm.
but I never stopped
Yeah, absolutely.
because, yeah, no, there, and I'll admit there were times where the product definitely was better than it was at other periods.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I still always got entertained. I remember getting stationed down in San Diego, California, and just Googling pro wrestling in San Diego.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
boom, there I was finding independent shows. And that that was actually where I got my start watching independent wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am. I've had countless people from down there on. I'm actually good friends with some of the coaches at the training school that goes along with one of the promotions that I actually first started watching. So
Yeah.
it's been a wild ride in the world of wrestling for me, for sure.
I
As I'm sure it
100
has been with you too.
I 100% feel like it's gonna be a wild ride for anybody that tries to join the sport. I 100% feel that way. Like, I don't think there's ever gonna be a calm, smooth ride ever in that journey.
Oh
Something always happens, something crazy always happens. You learn something every day. And
most definitely.
yeah, you see, what I love about it is that you hear so many point of views.
Mm-mm.
I do actually enjoy hearing a lot of wrestlers' point of views on why they think this is better or why we should focus on that. I really do love hearing about that. I consider myself a lucha sponge
Oh yeah.
because I don't know, I can't speak for a lot of people, but I pick veterans' brains like crazy.
Oh, there is something. I'm right along there with you. I mean, I might not be, in the active in ring part of it,
Hmm.
but there's just something about picking the brain of somebody that's been in the business for a good amount of time, whether it be, in ring, whether it be, me dipping into commentary, talking to
Hmm.
people that have been doing the commentary thing for a long time,
Yeah.
referees, whoever. There's just something about that and hearing their perspectives on stuff. I just love
Hmm.
it.
One of the things that and this just recently happened, I love seeing the media and
Mm.
seeing the opinions on the media on a lot of wrestlers, and then you meet them, and it's, at least from your experience, the complete opposite. I
Oh,
remember, not to bring up many names, but I like a lot of people talked about how crazy Scott Steiner was. I met him this past Saturday, and he was awesome. He gave me great advice. Bubba Ray Dudley was there,
oh,
and
nice.
everybody talked about how he was
Yeah,
not the
he's kind of
easiest guy to
infamous
talk
on
to.
that.
I consider, in my opinion, I really feel like Bubba Ray is a good guy, but I would say he kind of gives me the Brock Lesnar vibes where he's just a chill, laid back guy, doesn't have much to say to anybody, and would just like to be left alone. And that's something I highly respect.
Oh yeah, nope. I can definitely respect that, and he also gives me the vibe that it's like, yeah, he's like that. But if you ask him his opinion on something, good, bad, indifferent, whatever, he's gonna give it to you,
Oh,
whether you
absolutely.
like it or not. And
Yeah.
there is something to respect about that because in all sorts of walks of life,
Hmm.
there's too many people out there they'll basically be blowing smoke up people's asses. Just
Oh,
giving
yeah.
them what they want to hear. But what people really need is somebody that, will just give it to them how they see it.
Hmm.
And people just need to take it as they're just they're just trying to help you out. They're giving you what you asked for.
I 100% believe that if you're not getting criticized or if someone says very little, I really feel like they really don't care.
Oh yeah.
Or if they didn't see the match, there's
Yeah.
that. But if they just said, "Oh, good, great job," and whatnot, to me, like, I don't feel like I'm learning.
Yeah.
That's just being told, "Okay, you did a good job." Well, no, like, there's still something.
Oh yeah.
I
No.
100% feel like there's always going to be something, even the tiniest detail.
Oh yeah. Nope. I completely agree because how can you expect to improve on something if everybody's opinion on, when you ask them for it, they're telling them, hey, good job, you did blah blah blah. Which,
Hmm.
but if nobody's telling you stuff you need to improve on, you could be basically just keeping on screwing up, not realizing that that's what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. And I've had wrestlers be in denial with that sometimes, and I'm just like, I don't say anything because it's none of my business. I just focus on me towards the end of the day. But for me, I'm just like, oh, that's just crazy. It's just crazy to hear. It really is.
Oh, most
So
definitely.
for me personally, I'm just like I said, I'm a sponge. So if there's something that needs improvement, I'm all ears
Oh,
because
same.
I'm trying to get better. And my biggest thing now, my biggest goal currently for now is being a standout from the rest as
Mm,
best as I can.
most definitely. Hey, you gotta be able to find your way to stick out there. Now, yeah, I've also ran into a few personalities like that myself. Although I don't know if it's more so for me that the people that I've talked to have ever had a bad reputation.
Hmm.
Although but there's definitely been people that like they have that presence about them that they just look intimidating. But once you get to talking with them, some of the nicest people ever.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
I know Swerve, he can play one sadistic son of a bitch,
Hmm.
but when you get to talking with him, one of the nicest dudes ever.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
Bronson Reed. I've I've actually had him on the podcast before,
Hmm.
and I'll admit, walking up and talking with him to just ask him, I thought I might have needed a change of pants because like he's a big freaking
Oh,
dude.
I can imagine. I have yet to meet Bronson Reed. I would love to meet him though.
And I didn't get to have this guy on, but it was actually Bronson Reed's opponent the night that I had Bronson Reed on, but Jeff Cobb,
I actually met Jeff.
dude, what
It was a long
nice
time ago,
dude.
but yeah. Big dude,
Yeah.
my God. A big guy with a big heart is the best way to
Oh,
describe Jeff Cobb. And
mm,
he is, what's the best way to describe him? I remember 100% agreeing with this opinion. In my opinion, Jeff Cobb is Taz but bigger and Brock Lesnar but faster in one person. I consider that to be Jeff Cobb.
you know what? Listening to you describe him like that, I can agree. Most definitely. Like I definitely see the Taz in him with all the suplexes and stuff.
Hmm.
And not that Taz didn't also have the strength, but the sure brute strength of a Brock Lesnar added in there with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And
Hell, he suplexed Bronson Reed that night.
yeah, absolutely, 100%. I remember, and he did an indie show in Cleveland, and he worked Filthy Tom Lawler,
Mm,
and I saw him, and I'm just like, like no, nobody was around me. I felt like I'm just like, nope, I'm not listening to anybody. I'm just seeing this
zoned
guy
in right
move, and to say that that guy can go, man,
there.
I don't think he has ever blown up in a match. I may be wrong, I
No,
don't know, but I cannot think of a time where
if he has, he's hit it well.
yes, 100%. Like he can go.
Now, I gotta ask because I love hearing people's origin stories about how they come up with different things. Island Fury Taino. Now we've mentioned about you know one way in front of the camera, out in front of the crowd, and then who you are, outside of that can be two completely different people.
Hmm.
How did you come about with the in-ring persona for Island Fury Taino?
So one of my biggest things was in 2020, obviously the pandemic happened. There was very little to no wrestling.
The time
That
everybody wants to forget.
yeah, absolutely. But that was, in my opinion, I consider that a blessing in disguise because that's when I was experimenting and drawing. I draw my own gear and I draw who I want to be. I draw it. You know how in Spider-Man, like in the
Mm,
first Spider-Man, he draws like all those designs and he's like, nope. And
hmm
then he finally has his masterpiece.
hmm
To me, that's the exact feeling I had is like, this can work. This is not going to work. Island Fury Taino was, in my opinion, years and years of finding me. And the reason I say that is because you're starting in wrestling and you're being told, who do you want to be? And I had to learn this myself. I don't really, it's very hard to be a character without having a part of you in it. Um, so as time went on, I was just experimenting and experimenting, and some stuff worked, some didn't. And then I remember doing a show for Championship International Wrestling under Phil Monahan, and he says, "I have a lot of island vibes coming from you." And he's not lying. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm from the Caribbeans, and I get told I look like a lot of things. And some may say it's racist. I don't doesn't bother me, but I get told Brazilian, Filipino, Polynesian, Hawaiian, Samoan. I get told I look like a lot of things,
hmm
and so I started thinking about that, and then I started experimenting me being like an islander. So I tried it out, and it became something I fell in love with, and I became the Island Fury Taino from that point on.
Nice. I love hearing about that because I know that first little bit can be a bit of a feeling out process. What are you really
Mhm.
going to connect with you know on your end, which more often than not ends up translating into the fans connecting with that in-ring persona because I know at least from my personal standpoint, you can definitely tell when the person is really feeling what they're doing. When they really
Absolutely.
when it's really not just like, here's a character we have for you. You can tell when somebody is in one of those where it's almost like they get it phoned into them
Yeah, absolutely.
as opposed to, you know, somebody really feels that it's like an extension of themselves.
Yeah, 100%. And then once I started doing the character, I told myself, I said, I started seeing it as a part of me that I didn't realize I had, or more so didn't see.
Mm.
And so when I'm like out in the Caribbean, I'm literally in the water all the time. I'm literally wearing like beach necklaces and bracelets, and I'm barefoot pretty much the entire time I'm outdoors. So it's stuff I didn't realize that I started doing, and so I started making that a big part of me, and I used it to try to stand out from not even just wrestling, but like personally as well. When I go to the gym, I'm people think I'm crazy for doing this, but when I'm in the gym, I'm literally barefoot doing crazy lunges with holding like all these crazy weights. I'm running barefoot. I'm literally doing like bear crawls on gravel.
Yeah, the bear crawls on the gravel. I might not get my no. I'm that might be where I would even see a little like, what the hell? Because yeah, my probably part of why I decided to go into the podcasting and the commentary side of things. Old Navy entries and stuff. Yeah, stuff like bear crawls along gravel and not gonna agree with my body too much.
And I understand that. I understand that 100%, but for me it's just a part. It's just a part of me now. Now I can't go a day without going outside unless it's cold out,
No, yeah.
Whether out here in the snow, you won't see me outside.
Don't. Yeah.
But I consider it, like I said, I consider it a challenge in
Mm-hmm.
life. Life will always throw challenges at you, good and bad. And
Oh,
I just
totally.
consider that, I tell myself, you're not done with your day until you complete that challenge, no matter how bad it sucks.
Yep, yep, I can definitely agree. I've definitely had my days where I can definitely agree with all of that. And I always try to myself, you know, especially when I was in the military, you know, when I was telling people in my hometown that I was enlisting, there was a bunch of people that laughed at me. But I used
Hmm.
every little time that anything got tough in the military. I'm like, I remembered those people. I'm like, I'm proving them wrong.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% had to go through that starting out as well. When I started my first match, I was like 135. I had good cardio, but I had very little to no muscle. And that was a frustrating thing. The fast metabolism is a real thing. And people tell me all the time they're not going to take you seriously. And a lot of people did not take me seriously, for sure. Not, and I wouldn't say I was expecting it immediately, but I had to deal with fan backlash as well. Like so many fans made fun of me as well. Uh, they've said derogatory things that I cannot say on here.
Yeah, no, we
Um,
don't want to go that far.
yeah, like a lot of people had doubt me. Even now they doubt me, but for me it's like go ahead, like I consider it an opinion that does not mean anything.
I'm with
I consider it to be an opinion, and which is the lowest form of human knowledge. Like they don't know me. They don't know what I go through to get better.
you.
And as you figured out as well, a lot of these fans are people on their computers that
Yep,
just have an opinion. That's it. And
yep.
so,
Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
yeah, absolutely. So for me, I got better for me. It was me versus not necessarily the world, but it was me versus who I was yesterday.
Yep.
And so I put on a lot of weight, and it took years for me to get in great shape, and I'm still working on it, but
Hey.
it took uh it took a long time. I was experimenting with protein powders. I was experimenting with workouts that I hated, but I did it anyway. The most recent thing I did, and man, do these suck. Cold plunges and saunas.
Oh, yeah, the cold plunges. I can do the saunas, but and I hear people talk about the benefits of the cold plunges and stuff, but I'm like,
Hmm.
I can deal with the heat, but the freezing my ass off, no.
No other way to say it. If you want time to slow down, even if it's 3 minutes, take a cold plunge. I you can I do it because it's uncomfortable, but knowing that I did it anyway and got through it, I feel much better about it. And it does help. It does have good benefits. But in that moment, you just don't want to get in there. You do not want to get in. I don't care what anybody says. You do not want to get in a cold plunge. You cannot
No.
convince anybody that you
Oh
want to
yeah.
get in a cold plunge.
Even people that I've heard swear by the benefits of them. Like I just the other day heard him mentioning about this on his show. Chris Van Vliet. Heard
Yeah.
him talking about he even has moments where he's standing in front of his one and he'll be like, "Oh, damn, I got to send this email or I got to go do this." Yeah,
Yeah,
most
they
definitely.
no other way to say it. They absolutely suck. But I feel like if I can get through that, I can get through a lot of stuff. That I 100% believe.
Oh, yeah.
So for me right now, it's just maintaining good shape and just hustling. I feel like even on like days I don't work out, I feel like there's something I gotta look at.
Oh, yeah. No, most definitely. I know it. days where shit, my flabby ass stomach here. I know I can lose a few, but that's a whole another story for another time. Got to go into this though. Shirt I'm wearing, a referee shirt for Fantastic League of Wrestling. We are second season in full swing right now.
Absolutely.
And what are you looking forward to? Because like I said, the season's in full swing. They've been doing some pretty big stuff. I've seen clips and pictures from, as of this recording, this last weekend, the show at Indiana Beach. Man, that was a nice crowd there that day for that show.
No other way to say it. Es muy increíble. I remember I remember being at the first ever officially Fantastic League of Wrestling event. I was there. I was the first match down there. And I could not believe how much we got fans to love wrestling because that was our first time there. That was our first time there. We did not know how well we would do. We literally just dove deep into the water. And so just knowing that we got that many fans and then like the next three shows that happened, we just kept getting more and more. Like to me, that was an incredible feeling.
Oh yeah, I've heard stories from other people that were at some of those first shows, and yeah, like you hear about when you get to be that first impression for
Oh
somebody of
yeah.
wrestling, and you put that great of a product out there, and you wow that crowd in that first chance, and then they leave there thinking, man, I got to tell next time I get the chance to see these guys, I got to go. I got to bring more people.
Yeah. And the pressure was on that first event. At least I can't speak for the others, but for me the pressure was on because like you mentioned, new brand, new venue, new fans. So for me the pressure was on. And so just seeing the reaction that I got and even the reaction of the others. I know that Torino had a great reaction. I know Kenny had a great reaction. Berto and
Birdo.
Hippo.
Yeah.
I love those guys to death, but I cannot stand the ovation that Hippo gets. We're over. I literally am like looking, and I'm just like, well, that's Pop of the Night. Let's go.
Yep. I can't wait. I am actually I'd have to look at my calendar again, but I know I have him on my schedule. I have him
Absolutely.
like I knew when I first became podcast partner for Fantastic League of Wrestling, and I started hearing and then seeing stuff about Burno and Hippo. I'm like, dude, I have to have that on.
Yeah, 100%. No other way to say it. A lot of the roster is, no pun intended, fantastic. And
Very true.
but yeah, no, if I had to pick one negative about it is I cannot stand the reaction that Berto gets because he arguably gets the best reaction out of oh not Berto, but Hippo.
I
Berto is
can
one thing, but Hippo, I'm like, oh come on. How can you top that?
I I can I can understand that because you know especially you hear about matches and people feeling like, oh man, I got to go on after that. Going on after a stuffed animal hippo getting a reaction like that
Yeah, it's
be like,
not easy
holy,
to top that.
yeah. Oh man, I can understand that, man.
But currently, if I had to pick a goal right now for
A goal,
Flow,
yes, I want to hear about that.
100%, 100%, one-on-one, Tommy Gunn. And not only
Ooh,
that, but beat him.
oh yeah. I mean, heck, he's the Supernova champ right now. I had him on just oh god, when was it? I think it was actually a few days before he won that title.
Yeah, yeah. Tommy Gunn, no other way to say it. He can go. Same.
Yeah.
I consider him up with guys like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate and whatnot, but man, Tommy can go. I
Oh yeah.
remember I remember I did a training session with him and I'm like it is gonna be hard to keep up with this guy. Like he moves like the best way to compare him is literally comparing him to jelly. Like you try to grab it and then
Yeah.
and like he can get out of holds easily and
Oh,
I'm just you can't help but be impressed by him. So
oh yeah.
100% I would want to be in the ring for the Supernova title and beat
Oh,
Tommy Gunn.
for sure. Yeah, no, especially that they've released that the footage from that first show and seeing what he did
Yeah.
in that first show and that first
Yeah.
matches, I'm like, yep, everything I've heard about him, most definitely. Now, there, you are a part of, I believe, the team I'm hearing about, Party Island.
That's right.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I like the vibes with that. Well, so what
So
are so I know you said going up against Tommy Gunn one on one for the Supernova title is a big goal of yours.
hmm
I know those effing guys are holding the tag titles as of right now. So I'm imagining, yeah, I'll go after the Supernova title, but those pretty nice looking tag titles, you know, being being double champs got a pretty nice ring to it.
claro que sí. The tag team titles have always been a main target for me. And, me and Chip, no other way to say it, we just vibe well. We just vibe well, and the opportunity came for us to team, and we just went with it. And no other way to say it, it's fun. And as far as TFG and the tag team titles go, be careful. Be careful. Muy cuidado, porque Taino's coming for you. Taino's coming for los campeonatos, and something big is going to happen soon. So stay tuned for that.
I know I'm looking forward to it. You know, becoming podcast partner for Fantastic League of Wrestling has been a hell of an experience getting to talk with, Mr. Bullard, getting to talk with,
hmm
a whole bunch of the roster. I got more people coming. It's just been a great experience. I'm looking forward to more stuff coming. I know they've got another show at Indiana Beach coming up.
Yep.
I'm wanting to say August,
August 9th. Yep.
August
Ocho de
9th.
agosto.
That is going to be fun. Heck, from what I've seen of this last one, I'm like, man, it seems like every time you guys go back there, the crowd just gets bigger.
And the promotion is going to get better and better. Like I
Most
said, I made a this is a big promise. El prometo es muy grande. I made a very big promise that Fantastic League of Wrestling is going to see something big soon. And as far as TFG goes, those tag team titles, who knows? Maybe they might come to me sooner than later.
I would like to see that. Another, big stuff that Fantastic League Wrestling is already up to is, good lord, the amount that of the international partners that the
Oh
list just
yeah.
seems to keep growing. You got places from Mexico, Canada,
hmm
the UK, Japan, like a handful of places all over Southeast Asia, really.
To say that all of that was not was not underwhelming. No, it was overwhelming to see that how much of a great partnership we're getting. Seeing Torino and Abstract get those opportunities, seeing a few more coming later to Japan in August.
Yeah, there's a few more
Uh,
getting to go
yeah,
over there here soon.
yeah, I'm happy for them, but at the same time, it just makes me want it more. As far as Mexico goes, I definitely am ready for Mexico. I have a lot of friends down there. My trainer down there, Herodes in Mexico City. He's somebody I would love for him to come to Flow. Highly recommend him. He's him versus Tommy Gunn, I
Oh
100% believe would be a match to watch.
yeah.
Two different styles, but two guys that can tear the house down.
Oh yeah, you
100%.
you get the lucha libre style mixed in there with the British strong style and that whole
Yeah,
technical side of
absolutely.
stuff. There's something about two different styles, two different contrasting styles going up against each other like that.
Yeah,
It leads
100%.
to something pretty amazing most of the time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That would definitely be one.
But yeah, it's not like just knowing that we're getting all these partnerships and meeting all these international luchadors and all these other wrestlers. It's a great feeling. It's a great
Oh,
feeling.
heck, they just had Australia from, I probably mispronouncing his name, but from Dragon Gate over
La
in
Estrella,
Japan.
yeah, Estrella.
Yeah, like I said before we started recording, I get to feeling awkward when I think I'm mispronouncing somebody's name because I
Hmm.
with his name I feel like I'm about to say Australia every time that I try to say
You're
his
not the
name.
first person I've actually met that said that before, actually, yeah.
Yeah, like not a knock at him at all.
Hmm.
Great talent, but yeah, I get a little tongue tied and I swear like before I actually say his name that like when I'm thinking about it, it's coming out as Australia, and I'm like, damn,
Hmm.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, is no there, what can you say about Estrella? He can, well, like I said, he can move, and it's crazy how much he can move. I think he can balance the ropes very easily. I 100% believe he can go with anybody, and he's another one I would like to face.
oh yeah, that would be an entertaining one. Now, not only are you a part of Fantastically Wrestling, you're like a lot of places out, Midwest independent scene. One, and not just that, but you know, Party Island. You're also part of Island Fury. Now, I was seeing now, like I don't know how frequent of a tag team that is. I know that I've seen it advertised on your Facebook, and I've seen a few matches come up, and I'm like, Party Island. I like it. I like the vibe, and the pictures I was seeing of Island Fury, I'm like, huh, a different vibe to it, but I gravitate towards a lot of those
Hmm.
intense personas, and like at least from the pictures that I was seeing, I'm like, I could get behind that.
So, el luchador es Papa Dingo, and no other way to say it, he's my monster. And we are known as the Lethal Hunters, Los Cazadores. And
Lethal Hunters, yes. That like I saw Island Fury, and then I'm seeing Lethal Hunter. I like it.
yeah,
I like it.
so he and I, like you mentioned, we're different from Party Island. 100% different from Party Island. Lethal Hunters is necessarily not a good or bad team. We consider we consider it just competition. Whether they're good guys or bad, where it's competition for us. So for us personally, we're just gonna show, yeah, we're the aggressors,
Oh
and
yeah.
we're a team that you don't want to be in the ring with.
Oh yeah. No, I like it. And Lethal Hunters, I can see the kind of nickname for Lethal Hunters being Island Fury because
Absolutely.
the Island Fury uh damn it, there I go again. Words are hard.
Tranquilo, tranquilo, it's okay.
But like I see that, and then I'm like, I get it. I like it. And I'm
Um,
such a big fan of tag team wrestling that when I see teams like Party Island, I like the
mhm.
good vibes and stuff of that. But
Yeah,
then when I see the intensity of tag teams like Lethal Hunters or oh god, what's another good one? One of my personal favorite tag teams going right now, the War Raiders. Love those guys.
absolutely.
And
And
oh, go ahead.
one of the things I love about being part of the Lethal Hunters is, a lot of people think of it as a name, and no, it's not necessarily a name. It's a part of like who we really are.
Mm,
For me personally, like you mentioned, I fight like an Apache. I train outdoors. I lift rocks. I do push-ups in
mm,
rivers. That's not just a thing, that's just a part of me.
yeah.
And I consider my opponents to be hunted.
Oh yeah.
I'm their predator, and they might not think I am because of how much I weigh or
Oh
how
yeah.
how my height, but in Papa Dingo's case, he's an assassin. He's a
Yeah.
he's a jungle assassin.
Oh yeah.
And I've been in the ring with Dingo many times, and he and people have said, you guys fight like you hate each other. No, farthest thing from it. It's mutual respect.
Mm,
However, it's respect that we expect to give each other in different ways. And in the ring, you're in the jungle, and you're there to fight, and you're there to hunt.
mm.
And that's exactly who the lethal hunters are.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I love it. I love it. And I love, you know, I'm looking forward to what you guys got coming up with them because, like I said, I gravitate towards those intense personas. And god dang, Island Fury Teen. Dang
Taino.
it! God damn.
It's all right. It's
I'm
all
telling
right.
you, words are hard. But I'm loving it. And it's kind of funny thinking of the Island Fury in your name, and then a team kind of nicknaming them. At least for myself, thinking Island Fury with the Lethal Hunters, and you got the Island vibe, but you got the lethal monster in there with you. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I look forward to more. Now, okay, I saw a poster coming up, and we were talking about Japan, and I'm and correct me if I'm wrong here, because Lord knows with the amount of wrestling that I got to watch for, just doing research for the show. Correct me if I'm wrong on if this has happened already or not. I've had a great number of people come on from Brew City Wrestling. I saw a poster coming up talking about an opportunity to go over to Japan, and it had people. This is going back to WCW days with Sonny Ono, and I also saw oh god, bringing me back Saturn on the poster talking about a opportunity to go over to Japan and working for Tajiri's promotion and even possibly Noah, which I've had people come on from that have actually performed at Noah,
Hmm.
and for those that might not be as familiar, at least on that side of things, Noah, when you hear people talk about like the big promotions over in Japan, you're often thinking of obviously New Japan, but then also Noah, like right up there with it.
Yeah. So for me, it's not even just the number ones. I look at all of it.
Oh
And
yeah,
in
no, all of it,
Japan, in
definitely.
Japan, it's no different. Whether if it's Dragon Gate, Noah, New Japan, All Japan, even Big Japan and DDT,
Oh yeah.
I make sure to take a look at what's going on because I love seeing the competition. I love seeing all these up and coming wrestlers out there. And but yeah, 100% Kyushu Pro Tajiri's promotion is one of my top goals. And I consider it a company that will rise.
Oh
I see that they're doing great things, and there's a wrestler there that I met a long time ago. His name is Daisuke Sakimoto. A really big guy, a very talented guy. I put him up there with Jeff Cobb,
nice.
where like strength and his cardio is unreal. Um, I 100% consider Kyushu Pro being one of my top goals
Oh,
in
that
Japan.
seems to be, the guy that you were talking about. That seems to be what you could say for a lot of the top guys over there in Japan. Just the way those guys train over there is just
Oh yeah,
intense and
even
leads to that they're just a whole different animal over there.
even in Mexico, yeah.
Oh, Mexico too, yeah.
I've had a chance to learn at the New Japan Dojo in California a few years ago. I recently had an opportunity to train in Mexico. Again, my trainer Herodes, man, great guy, but his training is extremely hard to do. Um, you're in a very hot gym. It's in the Gym Hercules in Mexico City. And you get in that gym and you're doing the basic rows and you're already sweating a puddle.
Yeah,
By the
and
time you finish that training, you're in a creek, you're in a pond.
yeah, I was gonna say I've definitely heard stories, and from your experience, I know I've heard a lot from down there, with training, how there's some places down there, I don't know about all, that when it comes to the ring you train in, oftentimes being a boxing ring, which leads to the the floor of the ring being rather stiff because boxing rings aren't built for people to be constantly falling and then getting back up
Yep,
like a pro wrestler would.
absolutely. So I don't think mine was a boxing ring. I'm pretty sure that it was not a boxing ring. However, that ring that I stepped in, it was a hard SOB. I remember we were doing a drill and Herodes needed me to be the test dummy. So he's like, all right, we're gonna learn body. He's saying in Spanish. I'm gonna translate it for you. He's like, we're gonna learn body slams. You're gonna pick them up like this. And I never bumped in that ring. I just did drills and like ran the ropes. And even those ropes, extremely tight.
Oh,
I felt like it was hard to even like for it to get a give
to
my
get
first
there.
time getting in there. But he body slammed me, and I was just like, oh my God, I could not believe how hard that was. But I
Oh,
got up, I took it like a champ, and he asked me after that, he was like, how did that feel? I'm like, oh, it sucked. I'm gonna feel it tomorrow.
oh yeah. I remember, and this is like standard wrestling ring here in the States, but I remember doing a pro wrestling boot camp one time, and even that little taste, doing some bumps and
Hmm.
running the ropes and stuff. I was walking funny for about a week after that.
Yeah, definitely. I remember when I was at the New Japan Dojo doing a session there. It was a Rocky Romero seminar.
Mm,
And I remember we all were just doing squats for days. We had like 30 people there, so we did 10 sets of, or 30 sets of 10.
mm,
And that was fun. The conditioning was some of the hardest you did, for sure. And then a lot of it was their basics,
yeah.
which they're so tight detailed that it gets a little tricky. It 100% gets very tricky. But it's a weird feeling. Like as hard as it was, I had so much fun.
Oh, I can
I had
imagine.
so much fun. And so yeah, definitely learning from that. I can only imagine what like Tajiri and Kyushu Pro
Yeah.
and even not even just Kyushu Pro, but everywhere. Noah,
Oh,
you
Big
name it, DDT,
Japan.
Big Japan.
Yeah.
Like I know, like I cannot have say I even had a sample of it. I barely even had a crumb. I feel like from the experience of Japanese strong style.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, Kyushu Pro, one of my top goals for sure.
That's awesome. And I know I one of my actual really good friends that I kind of unofficially have called the godfather of my now almost 6 month old. Like a few years ago, I know he did the New Japan dojo over in LA, and yeah, the stories I've heard from him, I'm like, dude, like that sounds intense, but hey, for those that are wanting to gain that knowledge and maybe leading into opportunities, what
Hmm.
better way to get that chance than to go through there and learn from those guys?
It's definitely not easy. It's not cheap. It's definitely not cheap to do that. These are moments where you got to bet on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was like, this is too good of an opportunity to pass
No.
down. I would not forgive myself to this
Oh,
day if I turned down as good of an opportunity
oh,
as I
yeah.
did that.
Oh, yeah. Definitely one of those that it's like, man, you wonder if you're going to be able to do it. But then, if you don't take the opportunity to at least try, that
Hmm.
you're just going to be kicking yourself over it.
Yeah, 100%. And for me it was I'll die trying.
Oh, yeah.
When the moment they allowed me to step in through those doors, I refused to step out. I refused to step out
Mm.
until that session was done. I told myself that even in Mexico, like that ring was hot and the gym was hot itself. So it was a bright sunny day too. And so for me, it was like, I don't care. It sucks, but I did not work on this just to leave.
Oh, yeah. One,
So
one of
for
those opportunities that once you get it and you get the opportunity to do it, you're
yeah,
like, man, they will have to tell me, no, you need to go see a doctor
yeah,
before I'm going to
yeah,
be before I'm walking back out that door.
right. And like, not many people can say that they have those experiences.
That
So
very
for
true.
me, it's like, they're not gonna just come to you. You have
Yeah.
to go for it yourself. You have to grab it yourself. And that's one of the things I consider myself as like being a standout is I'm trying to grab the opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
Some may take longer. I'm trying to get on Kyushu. I've been trying to get on that for over a year to train down there and to wrestle down there. And Lord only knows how many emails I've sent them. But
Yeah.
just to say that like you learn from Tajiri,
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's somebody I
Japanese
grew up
buzzsaw,
watching
man.
with. Yeah, so it's like, why would you not want to get that opportunity?
Totally.
So for me, it's like, hey, wanted to reach out, and I'm not quitting until that opportunity comes.
Oh, yeah. One of those that you get there after so many emails, and they're like, they'll be like, ah, Mr. Million email. Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, whatever
Because
gets you the opportunity, man.
yeah,
You gotta go for it.
you gotta bet on yourself in these cases, and so like every day is updating everything, whether if it's my gear, whether if it's my basics. That's one thing that I know I need to perfect all the time, your
Yeah.
basics.
Oh yeah. No,
Your
those are very
basics is your formula.
mm-hmm. Most
So, and it takes years to perfect.
that it does. All right, now I got two categories here rounding off the show with, and I tried to theme it this one towards the guests as much as possible. We got a bit
Okay.
of a name game where I name off some people and you give me some quick thoughts on them. And as I said, trying to theme it towards the guests as much as possible with being a part of Lethal Hunters, aka Team Island Fury, as I'm liking to call them,
Hmm.
and then also being a part of Party Island. Each of the people, or yeah, each of the people in this name game, famous tag teams.
Game on.
All right, so I give you the name, first thought that pops into your head. First one, I, it's hard for me to hate these guys because I love the intensity. FTR.
As you can say, nothing but respect. Nothing but
Totally,
respect.
totally. Yeah, I remember just seeing the dominance that they had in the AEW, and then I mean, going into this bit of a new attitude they got with Stokely and
Hmm.
everything. I'm like, yeah, I get. There is that part of me that's like, oh, boo, you're being an asshole. But then, they get in there and I'm like, God damn, that intensity. I love it.
My favorites is definitely has to be the Briscoes and FTR feud. And what I
Oh,
liked about it
damn.
is that they were teams that hated each other, that grew to respect each other. However, they still had that dislike for each other as well. Like that's one of the things I really, really liked about their feud.
Oh, man. Talk about an epic feud right there. Next up, again, a team with a bit of a new attitude as of late. The New Day.
As wrestlers, I've always respected them, even
Totally.
before they became the New Day, 100%. Definitely guys I would love to get in the ring with. Kofi's been always been a guy I've always wanted to be in the ring with. Creed, Xavier Woods, I'm sorry. Definitely somebody I'd want to get in the ring with. But yeah, attitude's a little, but regardless, I would definitely love to get in the ring with them.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of people seem to forget that when the New Day first came about together, they started as the bad guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now they're just back at it.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Next up, we talked a little bit about these guys, but I had to put them on this list. And I've had a little social media interactions with them before.
Okay.
The War Raiders.
I consider these guys a match where you better bring it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I would love to be in the ring with them, but I know I gotta bring it because I know they're gonna bring it back.
Oh, yeah.
So
They come across it, and it's not a knock at them by any means, but they definitely come across as a team that is like they want you to hit them as hard as they're going to hit you,
yeah,
and
yeah,
if you don't, that's just going to piss them off.
absolutely,
And I love it. I love it. And
absolutely.
I've had I've had some interaction, I said, with them on social media where like there's this place every fall, this pumpkin patch where they'll sell these giant turkey legs. And I'd made a joke about, with my beard and, eating the turkey leg like a Viking, and I'll
Hmm.
tweet it at them, and they'll actually retweet it more often than not. And I'm like, dude, that little bit that's like that huge fan of them that I am. I'm like, I'll admit, I fanboy out a little bit every time.
Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
my god! Wow.
Pro wrestling is supposed to be fun at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
So if someone wants to call you a mark for that, like
Yeah.
whatever, I don't care.
That's the
Like,
before we go into the last one on this list, I
mhm.
you brought it up. I I got to say this: the term "mark" when it comes to pro wrestling has such a negative context to it. But when you think about it, if you are involved in the sport of professional wrestling in any fashion, whether it be commentary, obviously podcasting, whether obviously in the ring, referee, whatever it might be, you've been a mark, a air quotes mark for somebody, for some promotion.
Yeah,
You've been a
100%.
fan. That's why you're in it.
If anybody wants to know what the definition of a mark is, and I stand by this and the how it started, listen to Al Snow because he
Mm,
explains what a mark really is.
mm-hmm.
And people get the wrong terms 100%. Uh, the end of the day, you're marking somebody that potentially has money because you want them, as he loved to say it, because he got this from carnivals. You want them to play your game. You want them to buy your merch. That's what a mark is. It's not a stupid fan or anything like that. So that's 100% what I believe what a mark really is. And
Mm-hmm.
so if someone wants to call me a mark for loving wrestling or whatever, okay, I don't care. Like
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
it takes a lot for someone to get under my skin because
Oh, yeah.
a lot of the things that like wrestling fans say or like even wrestlers like, oh my God, stop being a mark. Like the biggest, he even says that the biggest mark is the one that thinks he's not.
I
So
like it. I like it. Yeah.
that's how I take that whole thing as.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Last but not least, on the name game part of this, the Hurt Syndicate.
I consider the Hurt Syndicate everything that a wrestler needs
Mm.
in a group. Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, they wrestle in their own different ways, but these guys have a look. These guys have the presence. They have the intensity.
Mm-hmm.
And like their tag team division because of the Hurt Syndicate, like they might be a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, yeah.
And so like you've seen how Bobby Lashley looks. That guy is I think he's
He's the
more
beat.
built than a tank.
Yeah.
Benjamin is not that far off. He's built and he can still move like he's in his 20s.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's a very difficult combination to try to beat if you really think about it.
For sure. Yeah. That is
But
definitely.
100% I would be up for the challenge to take them both on.
Oh, yeah. All right. Now on to some random questions, some wrestling related, some not, some nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far.
All right, no problem.
So I give you the question, first answer that pops into your head.
Okay.
First one, craziest in match moment for you.
Craziest in match moment. I don't know if it's the craziest, but it's one that stands out. Believe it or not, it's the first match at Flow at the Indiana Beach House. And when I beat J Rock in
Hmm.
that first match and the reaction I got, I was like, wow,
That would fit.
this is a this it's no other way to say it. It's a great feeling.
Oh yeah.
It's a fantastic feeling, no pun intended.
It,
And
no, I totally get it because especially you know the first show there, the first match, and you're getting a great reaction like you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
There is something special about that. You were the start of, you know, a great show. You were
Yeah,
the first
absolutely.
shot out there. You were the first impression.
100%. I don't know if it's the craziest, but it definitely goes up there.
Oh yeah. No, I would say that it definitely fits. Now, I constantly joke, like I know I've joked a lot about, you know, lottery jackpots. And when people think of, when it gets to some astronomical amount, oh, you'd never be able to spend all that money. And I literally, I've had this conversation before where I will tell people, watch me. I call it like fuck it money. Whereas like literally
Yeah,
some astronomical amount where there'd be things where I would be like, I would never think I'd be able to afford it. And then now all of a sudden you're telling me I got that amount of money? Fuck it, I'm getting it.
absolutely.
What would be one of the first things you would get if you had fuck it money?
Maybe not a big one, but a nice house for sure. Very nice house.
Very sensible option.
Yeah, 100%.
Then, you know, maybe even a little bit bigger. I can display even more of my stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm rather proud of what I have right now,
Hmm.
but being able to display even more of it would be an option that it would be hard to pass.
Absolutely. I would buy a house in Puerto Rico as well.
Oh,
I would
man.
make sure my family's homes get paid off.
No, yeah.
So,
So, some great options right there.
absolutely.
Now, couple ones dealing with favorite things. One, I'm definitely not a picky eater. I definitely have my favorites though. Favorite food.
I'm not a picky eater either.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll try just
Um,
about anything once.
yeah, absolutely. Um, uh, it's a typical Puerto Rican thing. We all love this. Rice, beans, and chicken is our most
Ooh,
common thing that you just grow to love. Obviously I love steak, I love sushi. I recently when I at the last not the last flow show, on May 31st when they were in Chicago,
yeah.
I got some deep dish pizza at
Oh,
Giordano's and I got the meat and more meat. That was phenomenal. So I'm definitely not picky.
yeah.
Uh, but if I have to pick a common food that I eat, it's
That
the stereotypical rice, beans, and chicken.
that's man getting me hungry. But heck, if you're wanting like a really good steak, we got to get you out here. There's a place that my wife and I go to all the time
Hmm.
that I kid you not, my brother-in-law had been talking about wanting, you know, sometimes when he comes up, he was craving a really good steak. And he'd go to a couple different places and he's like, yeah, it wasn't really what I was hoping. And then we literally tell him next time you come up, we'll take you to this spot. It's called Around the Bend.
Hmm.
That's like a little ways outside of Omaha. And we told him, we'll take you there and order what, because my wife mainly orders prime rib out there, but I'm like, if you want a good
Yeah.
steak, order what I get. You won't be disappointed. And he did. And that first bite, he was like, oh my God, yes. I
Fun
told you.
fun fact, one wrestler I did not realize he can cook. Not that I like expected him to be a bad cook by any means, but I just you don't really, for me personally, I don't really like try to go out of my way to see the personal lives of other wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just the introvert in me. Like
Yeah.
I'm private. I respect other people's privacies and whatnot. But I remember seeing Matt Hardy on a food channel called Guga Food, and
Oh,
they were going over like wrestling moves that he went through that hurts and whatnot. But in the middle of it, he was making steaks, and he made those steaks to perfection. I was like, wow, like you learned something new that one of your favorite wrestlers in the world can cook a fantastic steak.
I like to think that I do okay, but this place my wife and I go to, yeah, oh,
Hmm.
mouth watering, and like it gets to the point sometimes where like if you're wanting to go there for dinner, you're almost having to go there a little earlier because if
Yeah,
you go there
absolutely.
a little too far into the evening, there's they don't take reservations, so you could be waiting there a little bit. It gets crowded.
One of the funniest stories I've ever heard from a wrestler, as far as steak goes. I was at a show in Dallas in December, and I was with a group of guys. Dingo, obviously, being one of them. I was with Kerry Morton and Jackson Drake and Brett Ryan Goslin.
I
And
had him on.
yep, and Brett, that kid is a goofball.
Oh yeah.
He is a goofball. Uh, he was telling me about how he made a steak and then he saw that it was rare. And he said he was so lazy to put it back on the grill that he just decided to eat it. And he goes, so chewy. I'm like, oh my God, dude. I said, how did you do that? I couldn't do a rare steak.
Yeah, I will go as far as medium rare. That
Yes,
that that's about
absolutely.
that is about medium to medium rare is about my where I go.
And 100%. Uh, there's a lot of people that I know that say, "Oh, I like steak well done." Well, buy some beef jerky at a 7-Eleven
Yeah.
because that's pretty much what well done steak is.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a good one. Yeah. Ugh. All right, now with the name of a show like I have, I feel like I have to ask this question. Favorite drink, alcoholic or otherwise, because I know there I've had plenty of people on that for one reason or another don't drink, so I try to tell people just because it says drinking at Moe's does not mean that it has to be alcoholic.
Right. Pina colada.
Yeah,
I had to think about that one, but
very
definitely
that,
pina
that can be
colada.
refreshing.
Definitely pina colada.
I'm definitely, when it comes to mixed stuff, definitely big on margaritas.
Hmm.
I have some tequilas that like you put that stuff in a margarita, you need to be a little careful because that stuff's so
Hmm.
smooth that like you'd barely be able to tell there's any damn alcohol in it.
Yeah. So in Puerto Rico, in some of the spots where they have bars and whatnot, some of them actually have an option where you can drink a pina colada straight out of a coconut. And there's
That
no other
sounds
way.
delicious.
Yes, no other way to say it. It is phenomenal. I remember getting two of them, and two wasn't enough for me.
Oh man, this wasn't in Puerto Rico. I don't think I haven't been to Puerto Rico yet. I want to though, but I was on deployment and I believe we were in Thailand and they had a swim up bar at the
Hmm.
hotel. And I still remember it to this day because my friend's room at the hotel, you walk out the back door and there's literally steps right into the pool.
Yeah,
It, going
yeah.
right up to the swim up bar. And I had the not out of coconut, but I did have a drink out of the hollowed out pineapple.
That's awesome.
It was delicious. But yes, I'm that. Oh man, now
Yeah, if
I'm
you make the trip to Puerto Rico, get a pina colada, but not just any pina colada. You got to get it with a coconut.
gotta get it out of the coconut.
Yes.
I definitely will have to keep that in mind. I know I'm also, yeah, I'm more of a beer guy when it comes to alcohol.
Hmm.
Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull American Lager is It's like,
You and my brothers would be best friends. They love that beer.
oh man, I'm disappointed that the closest they sell it to me is like 2.5, 3 hours away. And I'm like, I'm not making that drive just for beer.
Yeah.
I do have in-laws that live in that town, but it's like, eh, am I gonna go there to visit them? But really, all I'm doing is going there to try to hunt down that beer.
hmm I remember I remember when I was making the trip to Flow and I said I really want to go to Giordano's. I really wanted to get that deep dish pizza because it was all over the media and whatnot. It showed how much they make it, the different kinds they make.
Yeah,
I was like, I gotta get this
you got to
pizza.
try it.
Like, I gotta get it. And then when found out that Flo was running in Chicago, I was like, ding, ding, ding. That's the first thing I'm doing immediately when I get
Oh
out.
yeah,
I went straight to a pizza place after the show.
oh yeah. I'm with you there. That would have been, man. If I were at that show, I would have been right there with you.
Absolutely.
Oh, most.
Giordano's no other way to say it. I wonder if I can get sponsored by them because I would find a way to make that happen.
Dude, if
I
you
would
figure it out,
represent
I
that
want
pizza
I like
place.
have them get back at me too. I
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely. Drinking
man,
at Mo's podcast, Giordano's, if you see this, the CEO,
yeah,
whomever, give me a call
yes.
because I will 100% be happily be a sponsor.
That would if I've had somebody tell me for me it'd be funny if I had a whole bunch of beverage sponsors, but if I had a food one, that would be one I'd want
Oh,
right there.
absolutely.
All right. Last but not least, here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
Oh, wow. Believe it or not, that is a simple but very difficult question because, when I started, I had to learn a lot of stuff on my own. And it took it was stressful. And it's unfortunate because wrestling is not supposed to be stressful. And so like it's meant to be fun. That's definitely advice I would give to somebody is, don't be stressed about it. It's meant to be fun. Yeah, you're trying to make it big. Yeah, you want to travel, expand, and whatnot. But at the end of the day, never forget to have fun
Mm-hmm.
doing it. I would consider that one of them. Um, Man, I would give an encyclopedia because just you already know like you learn so many things that it's very hard to give a specific piece of advice.
Yeah,
I would say this may sound generic. I would say if you're gonna want to succeed in wrestling, watch your heroes. Don't miss a day of training. If life happens, life happens.
yeah,
One of the things that I hated is when someone says if you miss a day or training or so, like you're not taking it serious. Like, dude, life happens.
yeah.
So that's one thing. Like, definitely make it to as much training as you can. You got to be in
You can
shape.
help it, don't miss it, but
Yeah,
life happens.
right. You definitely gotta get in shape.
Oh,
You know, you can't be a wrestler and not have some sort of shape. You really got to be in good shape.
yeah,
Um, as far as like diets go, like it's a matter of finding what's best for you.
yeah.
So a lot of trainers out there, they'll say, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that." And if you want to try it, great, but you can't expect it to work
Yeah.
unless you see the good results. So, um, definitely if you want to be a standout though, pay attention to your basics, pay attention to your gear,
Mm.
pay attention to your physique, pay attention to your promos, and I 100% consider this unteachable, your charisma. I 100%, these are, I wasn't going to say this, but why not? These are the five things that I take pride in trying to perfect. I consider those many different ways to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Especially now, because like a lot of people try to do like similar characters, same moves and whatnot. I consider those my five types of ingredients to try to stand out from the rest.
Oh yeah, and there's nothing wrong with taking inspiration from your heroes. You know,
No, not at
different
all.
different moves that they do, taking little bits of their personality. But the thing is, taking those little bits and giving it your own little twist, where it, yeah, you took it from them. Oh shit!
What just okay.
All right, technical difficulties they happen, but as I was saying, I believe it. Taking those little bits, but giving it that little bit of a twist
Yeah.
where it's just enough difference to where people can't say that like it's a carbon copy of so and so.
Yeah, 100%. And like nowadays, like you're being told to study wrestling. You're being told to study anything and everything you can in or outside of wrestling. So how is somebody going to give you critiques like that if A, nine times out of ten, you probably have copied that as well.
Yeah.
Or B, you're saying you got to study this. So
Hmm?
like how is that not studying or
Oh yeah.
trying or whatnot? Like
Oh yeah.
there's always going to be something.
Yeah. No, it's there's nothing wrong with taking inspiration from different people or things, but just making it your own
Yeah, absolutely.
for sure. Now, before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on Island Fury, they're gonna go ahead and get them there.
Oh, definitely. On Facebook, it's Island Fury Taino. Same thing on Instagram at Island Fury Taino. Look up my YouTube videos. I always try to post matches and promos down there. Just look up Island Fury Taino, and yeah, feel free to look at my content, and I'll happily be able to show more.
Definitely. I'll definitely get all of that into the description. That is about all I have. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to everything you got going on. Fantastic League of Wrestling and beyond. And you're welcome back anytime.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
My issue with this fucking button.